We didn't run in these shoes or wear them for a month. We pulled the spec on everyone, the upper, the midsole, the sole, because the numbers don't lie. And 2 words on the box tell the whole story. Man-made materials. That's plastic. Walmart's Athletic Works upper cracks and peels in months. We read the spec on sneakers from Walmart, Target, Costco, and 8 more stores. These failed. You know the failures without a lab. The sole that peeled away from the shoe like a banana. The toe crease that cracked white and never healed. The foam that went flat and dead by month 3. None of that was bad luck. It was the spec, the upper, the midsole, the glue, and the store made sure it wasn't on the label where you'd read it. Let me walk you through all 11. Number 1. Walmart Athletic Works. This is the worst, and it's the teaching case for the whole video. Read the listing and it tells on itself. A man-made upper, a TPR outsole, an EVA midsole, and a glued-in memory foam insole. Here's what those words mean. Man-made or synthetic upper is polyurethane, a plastic skin bonded to fabric. It cracks at the toe flex crease and peels within 6 to 12 months. That's not an opinion, it's how PU degrades. The plastic layer is bonded to a fabric backing, and every step flexes that bond at the same spot over the toes. Add heat, sweat, and time, and the coating crazes, lifts, and flakes away from the fabric underneath. The shoe doesn't wear out, it comes apart. TPR is the cheapest, slickest outsole rubber, fine on dry carpet, poor on a wet parking lot, and it wears down fast at the heel strike where every step lands. And the insole is glued in, so when it packs down, you can't replace it. Now the documented evidence, and I'm attributing it exactly, because I didn't run in these, I read them, the listing says man-made upper right on the page. And owner reports document soles peeling and separating within days to weeks and tongue stitching pulling out around 2 months. The reviews even praise the memory foam comfort on day 1, which is the trap. Comfortable for a week, plastic for a year. And that's the cleverest part of the design. The memory foam does its job in the store and for the first few wears, which is exactly when you decide whether you like the shoe. By the time the upper starts crazing at the crease, you're months past the return window and you've already blamed yourself for being rough on shoes. Man-made means plastic. We read the upper, not the ad. The next store won't even tell you that much. One quick thing, and it's the one you've been asking for. You wanted the whole method in one place. Well, here it is. My new guide, Build a $2,000 wardrobe for $200. Every rule from this channel. No logos, no fluff. The link is below. Go build it. Number 2, Dollar General. Here's the verdict. This is the purest case on the entire list because there's nothing to read at all. Dollar General sells an unbranded men's lace-up sneakers, and the listing publishes no material composition whatsoever. Just durable rubber sole and breathable fabric upper. That's it. No upper material named. No midsole foam. No construction method. No brand. And that silence is the finding. When a shoe won't tell you what it's made of, it's because the answer doesn't help the sale. Fabric upper with no fiber, rubber sole with no type. Those are non-answers designed to sound like specs. There's no brand to hold accountable and no spec to check, which means no one is standing behind it. Compare that to any shoe with a name on it. A brand can be complained to, reviewed, and embarrassed. An anonymous shoe can't. At least Walmart printed man-made and let you decode it. Dollar General just leaves the box empty and hopes the low price fills it in. And understand what that means practically. If the sole separates in 3 weeks, there is no maker to complain to and no brand reputation on the line. Just a store shelf that will have a different anonymous shoe on it next month. Accountability requires a name, and there isn't one. We read the silence, not the sticker. The next store hides the cheap spec behind a fashion label instead. Number 3, Old Navy. Let me compare this to what it's really competing with. Old Navy's house athletic shoes are light synthetic uppers on cemented, glued, construction, sold on the fashion cycle at low prices. They look current, that's the whole pitch. But cemented construction with no reinforcing stitch is the #1 documented failure mode at this price. The sole separates from the upper because glue alone is the only thing holding them together. And the synthetic upper is the same PU story from segment 1. So you're buying a seasonal look, not a shoe. Cute this spring, cracked by fall, replaced next year. Here's the difference cemented construction actually makes. On a glued shoe, the entire bond between upper and sole is adhesive, and adhesive fails from flex and moisture. Add even a row of stitching through that joint, and the failure mode changes completely, because thread doesn't care about humidity. That row of stitching costs almost nothing. It just isn't there. Compared to a real mesh sneaker at the same price, it loses on breathability and lifespan both. It's not the worst on the list because Old Navy doesn't really pretend it's performance footwear. There's a version of honesty in that. Nobody at Old Navy is telling you this shoe will carry you through a training block. The problem is the price implies durability the build can't deliver, but it's a fashion object priced like value that won't survive the season. We read the construction, not the color. The next one dresses the same spec in a permanent sale tag. Number 4. Kohl's, the FLX, and Sonoma House brands. Here's the question that unlocks this one. What is that sale price actually measuring? Because Kohl's runs these mid-mall house brands at what looks like a permanent discount, was $50, now $30, act fast. But the sale is the marketing, not a real markdown. The spec underneath doesn't move when the price does. And the spec is ordinary. Synthetic uppers, cemented soles, glued insoles, the standard house brand build. So you feel like you scored a deal when you paid the actual intended price for an actual mid-tier shoe. A discount off an inflated number isn't a discount, it's theater. And it works because the brain anchors on the crossed out number instead of the shoe. You didn't evaluate a $30 sneaker on its merits. You evaluated a $20 saving, which is a completely different transaction and a much easier one to win. Read the materials. And the 60% off sticker stops mattering because the shoe is worth what it's made of, not what the tag claims it was. We read the materials, not the markdown. The next store's house label is genuinely cheap. The question is whether it says so. Number 5. Amazon, the Amazon Essentials, and 206 Collective House lines. Here's the insider read, and I'll be fair because the t-shirt version of this video credited Amazon Essentials for honesty. On footwear, it's more mixed. The house athletic shoes are cheap, and the published materials are often vague. Synthetic, man-made, imported, which, as you now know, is itself a spec position. Vagueness is a choice, but where Amazon's house lines do name real materials, a listed textile mesh, a named EVA midsole, credit them for it, because naming the spec is the honest move. So Amazon isn't a villain by default. It's a coin flip you control by reading the composition field before you click buy. And that's genuinely different from a physical store, where you can at least feel the upper. Online, the composition field is the only thing standing between you and a surprise, which makes reading it the entire skill. Skip the ones that just say man-made. Buy the ones that actually list mesh and EVA. And use the question and answer section, because that's where sellers get pinned down. If a listing dodges a direct question about the upper material, you have your answer without buying anything. The store isn't the spec. The specific listing is. We read the listing, not the logo. The next store's house brand is the best looking of the bunch. Number 6. Target, all in motion. The verdict here is genuinely more positive. This is the honest mid-tier if you pick the right model. Target's all-in-motion uppers are typically a recycled polyester and polyurethane breathable mesh, and this matters. Many models include a removable footbed. Prices run roughly $20 to $35. That removable footbed is worth more than it sounds, and here's why. The insole is the first thing to die on any sneaker. It packs flat under your heel long before the outsole wears through. On a glued-in insole, that's the end of the shoe. On a removable one, it's a $5 replacement and another year of wear. That removable insole is a real spec, not a cost cut. It means you can replace the footbed when it packs down instead of throwing out the whole shoe. And it signals a maker who built the thing to be used, not just sold. The mesh breathes better than a solid PU skin, too. And that matters more than men expect, because a plastic upper traps heat and moisture is what accelerates the glue failure underneath. Now here's the precision that matters, because engineered mesh is synthetic too. The line isn't synthetic versus natural, it's whether they name it. A maker who actually engineered the material tells you exactly what it is. Engineered mesh, knit, TPU. A maker hiding a plastic skin just writes man-made and stops. Man-made means plastic. Named synthetics mean engineering. It's not a performance running shoe, and you should still read the specific model. Some are more synthetic than others, but at this price, All in Motion is a legitimate, honest pass for everyday wear, and it's the best of the pure house brands here. It earns that by doing the boring things right, naming its materials, making the footbed replaceable, and not charging you a premium for a plastic upper it hoped you wouldn't ask about. We read the footbed, not the facade. Now the last of the house brand stores, and it plays both sides. Number 7. Sam's Club. Here's a comparison worth making because this store straddles two different mechanisms, and I want to be honest about that. Sam's Club sells its own Members Mark basics alongside real athletic brands at volume pricing. The Members Mark side is house brand territory, read it the same way you'd read Walmart's, since they share a parent, checking the upper material and the insole. But the real reason to walk into a Sam's Club is the other side. Name brands sold cheap because of the membership warehouse model. That's the same lever that makes the winner of this whole video work. So Sam's Club is a pass on the real brand shelf and a read it carefully on the house shelf. The membership itself is part of the math. 2, if you're already paying the annual fee for groceries and gas, the shoe aisle is effectively free access to volume pricing. If you're not, one pair of sneakers doesn't justify the card. Know which aisle you're standing in. And that distinction, house brand versus real brand resold, is exactly the line we're about to cross. Because everything from here up is a different kind of store entirely. We read the brand, not the building. The next 4 don't make sneakers at all. Number 8. Famous Footwear. Now the mechanism changes, and you need to hear it stated plainly. The last 4 stores on this list don't manufacture a single shoe. They resell real brands. So we're no longer reading a store's house spec, we're reading whether the store sells you the real brand's real shoe or its cheapest one. Famous Footwear is a mass footwear chain built on promo math. Buy one, get one half off, the deal's stacked high. Here's the question, is BOGO actually a deal? Only if the model is, because a real brand name does not guarantee the real brand's good spec. The big makers all produce entry tier and made-for-discount models that carry the logo and cut the materials, so the BOGO is real value only when the shoe underneath it is. Read the model tier, not the promotion. The chain wants you comparing 2 prices against each other. You should be comparing one shoe against what it's actually made of. A genuine mid-tier New Balance at BOGO is a steal. A made-for-outlet version of it is the same plastic in a famous wrapper. The practical tell is the model number. Look up whether that exact model exists on the brand's own site at full price. If it doesn't, it was built for the discount channel and the logo is doing all the work. We read the model, not the markdown math. The next chain plays the same game with a sporting goods sign. Number 9. Academy Sports and Big 5. A little context here because these are old-line sporting goods chains and that heritage cuts both ways. They sell real brands, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, Brooks, frequently on promotion, and for a man who reads the model tier, they're solid. The trap is the same as Famous Footwear. The sale sign is not the spec. A sporting goods store will happily stack the entry-level and clearance tier models up front because they move on price. But these chains also carry the genuine performance lines, the real running and training shoes with engineered mesh, real EVA or branded foam, carbon rubber outsoles. Those are the ones worth buying. So Academy and Big 5 are a strong pass if you walk past the doorbuster table and read the model name against what that model actually is. The store gives you access to the real thing. Your job is to pick it. The staff can help here in a way they can't at a discount store. A sporting goods chain usually has someone who knows the difference between a real running shoe and a lifestyle sneaker with a running shoe silhouette. Ask and the good models surface fast. We read the tier, not the sale sign. The next one is the closeout wild card. Number 10. TJ Maxx and Ross. Here's the insider tell that most bargain hunters miss. These closeout stores sell real brands at real discounts, genuinely. But the closeout channel is exactly where the makers dump their lowest tier and made-for-outlet lines. So a real brand name on a TJ Maxx shelf does not guarantee the real brand spec. Some of it is legitimately last season's good shoe, marked down because it's last season. That's the score you're hoping for. And some of it is a stripped-down version built specifically to hit an outlet price, with a cheaper synthetic upper and a simpler sole than the same model sold full price. The two sit side by side wearing the same logo at prices close enough that you can't tell them apart by cost. Only the materials separate them, which is exactly why reading the upper matters more here than anywhere else on this list. The value is real if you check the materials against what you know that brand's real shoe is made of. Read the upper and the outsole, not just the logo and the yellow tag. We read the spec, not the discount. And that brings us to the one store that solved this whole problem by refusing to play the game. Number 11, Costco. Here's the reveal, and it's the winner. Costco has no house brand athletic shoe. None. It never made a cheap sneaker to sell you because that was never the model. Instead, it sells real brands. Puma, Hoka, New Balance, Vans, Skechers, Adidas, at member pricing, which is the one honest caveat here. Costco buys in bulk on what it can get. So the model on the shelf this month may be gone next month. You're not choosing from a full catalog. You're choosing from whatever real brands the buyer landed, which is still a better starting point than a wall of plastic. You pay less at Costco for a genuinely better shoe than a $19 Athletic Works. Real engineered mesh or leather uppers. Real EVA or branded foam midsoles. Carbon rubber outsoles, removable footbeds, published weights. Every spec the house brands hid, these publish, because real brands have to. That's the structural advantage. A real brand has a reputation writing on the model number, so it tells you the drop, the weight, the foam, the outsole compound. A house brand answers to nobody, so it tells you man-made and stops. Man-made means plastic, and silence means cheaper still. Costco wins by refusing to make the cheap version. That $19 Walmart shoe dead in 4 months cost you almost $60 a year to keep replacing. A $45 Costco New Balance that lasts 2 years costs about $22 a year, and it's more comfortable every single day in between. The cheap shoe was always the expensive one, and it costs you more than money. 4 months into a dying pair. The foam is flat and the support is gone. So the last stretch of every cheap shoe's life is spent walking on something that isn't doing its job. You don't just buy more often. You spend most of the year in a worse shoe. We read the value, not the aisle. So here's the whole method. Read the upper. Engineered mesh or real leather, never man-made, because man-made means plastic that cracks at the crease. Read the midsole, real EVA, not the injected foam that goes dead in a season. Read the construction, stitched and glued over glued alone, because glue alone is how the sole peels off. The price and the word athletic never told you any of it. The spec always did. You just had to know it was hiding on the box. And the guide so many of you asked for is finally here. Build a $2,000 wardrobe for $200. Every rule from this channel in one place, linked below. If this one changed how you'll shop, watch the men's clothing brands robbing you blind. 370,000 views. And the clothing built to last a lifetime. 199,000 views. The same read the build method for your whole wardrobe. Subscribe. This channel reads the build, not the marketing.